I think they should have titled it The Making of a Bully. From what I ascertained from looking at the documentary, he was never taught boundaries. I don't think he was ever told no, or if he was told no, he didn't like it. And he grew up with a lot of resentment, and he treated he treated people the way he was treated, but worse. That's what I think. I'll be back. Hey folks, I had to re-upload this video because a company I shall not name, not YouTube, felt that there was a clip in the video that they didn't want me to use. So what I'm going to do is just replace a lot of the video with stills just to be on the safe side, because I don't have time for these games. But thanks again for watching it. Those who are just watching it, thank you. As I said, I had to re-upload the video that I posted yesterday. Thank you. If you don't, have access to, if you don't have a subscription with Peacock, I'm doing it for you. And then I'm doing it because I just want to do it. I like the documentary and I want to talk about it. And this is for the record. I just want to say that I am doing a review under the fair use. I will be discussing the Sean Diddy Combs documentary that aired on Peacock. It's for educational purposes and entertainment. Thank you. Let's get on with it. I liked his friend. His friend name is Tim. And he's the one who grew up with Diddy. His friend, he seems credible to me. From what it appears to me, it seemed like he's coming from a true place. Like, he's not trying to paint this, oh my God, just feel sorry for Diddy picture. He's telling you what he knew, what he witnessed, and what he, surmised from what he witnessed. Okay, it's unbiased. That's what it seemed like. It's unbiased to me. That's what I picked up. The other ones, like, I if I never hear Gene Deal talk about Diddy again in life, I'm cool. The other people in the documentary is one guy who was like, every time he said something about Diddy, he ended it with a chuckle. And I was like, dude, what's funny? Like really, what's funny? Okay, let's get on with it. It opens up with I don't know if they're still best friends or what have you, but it opens up with Tim, and he's talking about how he met Diddy and his first impression of Sean Combs. He said he don't know Diddy. The Diddy, Daddy, Puffy, all that. He said he does not know who that is. He knows Sean Combs. So I'm going to let you guys listen to what he said it in his own words. Okay, let's get on to you hearing how Tim described Diddy when he first met Diddy. I'm sorry, he doesn't know Diddy. He says he knows Sean Combs. Okay, listen to this.
I grew up weird. I grew up in the ghetto, and then I moved over into the suburbs where Sean lived. My reason for having you guys here is because I truly believe that what's going on right now is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than media. It's bigger than this world. I just know that where I am now, amongst all the noise, he is public enemy number one right now. And a lot of things that are being attached to Sean now, I can't condone any of the things that I've heard or seen. He's monsterized now. But monsters are made. That's my little bro. I know Sean. Not Diddy, not Daddy Love. I don't know those people. I don't know them. I swear I don't know them. I've never met those people. I have to tell people about what they don't know about his childhood.
I just want to briefly express this. See, this is why I implore people to do their own research. Even when you're looking at videos I do, please do your own research. People have been all over these internets saying that Janice Combs is not Sean Combs' real birth mother. And, I saw articles where people were saying that she was his aunt. This man who grew up with Diddy said, or Sean Combs says, that's his mom. That's his birth mom. Janice is Sean's birth mom. Okay, let's get on with it.
The making of Sean Combs. Sean is the son of two Harlem it people. Janice is Sean's mom. Speaking of Janice, this is Janice here. And Melvin is Sean's dad. And Sean, he grew up in Mount Vernon. That's where they built the house. Melvin, I've never met him, never knew him. He passed before I met Sean. Why he wasn't there was just a mystery to both of us. So Sean had to learn about his dad through other fellas that came up during that time.
Sean Combs' father was allegedly a gangster, a hustler, and a player in the streets of New York.
Melvin was a part of a group of guys that was led by Nicky Barnes, a Harlem kingpin, if you want to call it.
His father sold to an undercover cop. This was a New York City police officer. And he gave the cop information. His father was killed because he was ratting them out.
I don't know how he died. I don't know. I just know Janet woke up one day and he was not there, and Sean was. Janice was left a lot of money. There was a brand new house, and Janet had to pivot. And her desire was to occupy that house with someone that had a son close to the age of her son. My mom knew Janet, and somehow, some way, they hooked up, and we were offered the bottom floor on her brand new house that her and Melvin had built. And we had a chance now to move on the north side. So we get up to the house, we get out the car, Janet says, well, wait a minute, let me go get Sean. And she goes upstairs, she comes back down with this little kid. And I look at him like, oh my God, this guy is different. He's the one in the hat. And you can see he has jewelry on, he has rings on, he has bracelets on. This is a 4-year-old in a 30-year-old's wardrobe.
The lingering question that I had was, what did Tim's mom think about Janice when they, began to occupy the house more regularly and she witnessed Janice's lifestyle? Like, I don't recall Tim ever talking about how his mom felt about Janice's lifestyle and what, Sean was exposed to. Now, that's something that I would like to know. I don't recall hearing him talk about it in this doc. The next person is just sharing briefly their, how they became friends with Puff and, how they hung out and was a part of a crew. All right, here you go.
So I first met Puff when he came to a cousin of mine's house party. He was part of a dance and fashion crew called 7 Up Crew. And those guys would go throughout New York City, battle people in dancing, fashion. He also was one of the first kids that I knew that had like a Gucci watch.
He's always had all the best of everything. Like Sean didn't go to school, and Sean went to Catholic school, private school.
This guy right here, he was so annoying to me. It was like every time he said something, he ended it with a chuckle. And it was like, what is funny? Like, he could be talking about seeing somebody get hit over the head and then he'll end it with a chuckle. It's like, it's not funny. And then he gave off like envy, like Sean's upbringing. And it's like, how many rich black kids did you know at that time? So Sean was getting attention even when he probably wasn't looking for it because he was a rich black kid. And this dude look like, or comes off like he still has an issue with it.
They always say that, oh yeah, he's doing good. He got him in private school. This kid is rich. He was looked at as the rich kid. Sean was the different kid. Sean was the kid that people could smell was not tough.
Known bullies and their parents should be accountable for how these people grow up to become monsters, or when they grow up to be monsters. You should be accountable for what you did to help create this monster, and the parents who helped create these monsters, like allegedly Janice. You should be accountable for everything that Sean has allegedly done.
Sean was always bullied. Getting hit up your head on the side of your head one too many times, or getting called a bitch one too many times. There's one kid in particular named Jonathan. He was about 6 feet tall at 12 years old. Real big husky dude. And for some reason, Jonathan would pick on him. And he would pick on him and hit him and make him cry and take his bike and just do mean stuff. To the point where I couldn't watch that happen. I had to intervene because my interaction with Sean was a protector. It was a bigger bro. When something's done to them, you step up. But after I graduated high school and I went into military, Sean didn't have me.
You could tell that Tim is still broken up inside, that he was not there for Sean Combs, and thinking that if he was there, maybe he would have turned out to be a different person. But he shouldn't have that burden on his chest like that, and he shouldn't have been solely or felt like he was solely responsible for Sean's well-being. My thing is, where was his mom when Sean's things were getting jacked and he was being bullied? Why didn't his mom bring someone in to help teach her son to defend himself? They was rich. She could have hired someone to show Sean how to defend himself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, was she too busy getting her rocks off? I mean, what's the deal? And also, I like the fact that they brought in an expert to come in and talk about Sean's mental well-being, because being subjected to the things that he's been subjected to, of course, he has deep animosity. So listen to this.
There's been quite a bit of research done on a body of work that we really refer to a lot. It's called Adverse Childhood Experiences, or ACEs. It can be everything from witnessing domestic violence, physical abuse. It could be having a parent who's absent. Here's a man who lost his father early in life under some very violent, tragic circumstances. If you've lost a parent, there's a desire to belong to something bigger than yourself, to not be isolated, to belong to a group, to fit in.
Okay, the next clip is about Gene Deal talking about how he formed some group in '89. Puff wanted to be a part of it. The dudes in the crew didn't want Puff a part of it because Puff was not from Harlem. So one night they jumped him in the crew. And okay, here we go, talking about it.
Puff, man, he want to be with us. He want to be with us. A lot of guys didn't want him a part of the same gang because he didn't live in Harlem. The dudes didn't really like him. All right, so one day we decided, they said, Puff, come over here. We're going to have the youngins tighten them up. And we're going to smash them in the head, rough them up or something like that. When Puff came, we was all out there, and the young guys grabbed him. And they started trying to rough him up, and he jetted running. They brought him back. They rough him up, smashed him up, hit him in the head with cakes and all this other stuff like that. This is the picture when he crossed over to the same gang. He got the same gang T-shirt on.
When I got home from the military, and Sean and I hadn't seen each other in a while, and, you know, I'm like, what's up, Sean? He's like, yeah, they call me Puff now. They call me Puff. I was being looked at as a punk. I was being looked at as a pushover. I was being looked at as a sissy, as a wimp, as a goofy. I ain't even trying to know that person again. And I'm a Puff Daddy now.
So that insecurity, the need to fit in.
I had a great time. Yeah, I'm glad they invited me back.
The need to feel powerful. Some perpetrators are profoundly damaged individuals and feel very powerless. And a way of being powerful is controlling and victimizing other people.
Okay, the next person who will be talking is the attorney Ariel. So, how do you guys, what kind of feelings or thoughts do you guys have about Miss Ariel? Any thoughts? Any feelings? All right, then let's listen to Miss Ariel.
I am a civil litigator who has filed several cases against Sean Combs for sexual assault in civil court. I have been sounding the alarm about Mr. Combs for years. He is a man who has done awful things to hundreds, maybe thousands of people.
I'm wilder, I'm crazier.
That last part where Sean said he's wilder and crazier, I bet you people were like, this dude, if he never told the truth, he told it on that part. He ain't never lied. Okay, the next two guys that are about to talk, they have been knowing Sean since college. And one of them said he's been in the music industry. Even in college, he had been in the music industry for years. And they were basically painting a picture showing us how badly Sean wanted to get into the music industry. And when someone tells you they're willing to do whatever it takes, and they show you they're willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want, you better beware. Seriously, beware. Let's go on.
I know some girls that he's dated, that have called him a perfect gentleman. But when Sean started getting more and more popular and he had one of the hot girls on campus, there was a lot of jealousy that went on. Maybe his personality might not have been the most sensitive. I'm not sure what Puff might have been focused on, but I just know that he had a love for music.
Back when I was going to Howard in '87, I was trying to get into the music industry. Everybody's looking at me like I was crazy. I met Puffy on Howard's campus for the first time. I was actually the first person on Howard's campus to have a drum machine at that time. I've been in the music industry ever since I was probably 15 years old. So he wanted to get with me because he knew that I had connections. He would tell you that I'm going to be the biggest record producer in the world. Like, he already knew what he wanted at Howard University.
He hung out with a lot of friends from Mount Vernon. One of our biggest celebs from Mount Vernon, his name is Heavy D. Heavy D came up to campus.
Okay, the next person coming up is I'll Be Sure. Aside from all the chaos and the drama that has been surrounding I'll Be Sure's life, I'll say since Kim Porter was allegedly murdered or unalived, when I'll Be Sure first came on the scene with his album, it was like, I don't really believe he has a voice for singing, but it wasn't even about his voice. It was his looks. It was like his looks. Other than that, listening to him in this documentary, I was a little suspicious of him, but listening to him in this documentary, it's like I'm looking at things under a different light. And also, it makes you have a lot of compassion for him. And I'm sure this man endured a lot that he's not even privy to bringing out to the open out of respect for Kim. And also legalities and, knowing who he's dealing with. See, he knows Diddy a lot better than we could ever know him. And he has worked with Diddy before he got with Kim Porter. They were at the same label. So he's more knowledgeable about Diddy ways than too many other people. True story, guys. Let me tell a story before I get back to the documentary. So when I'll Be Sure first came out, he was living in an apartment in Studio City, right? And this was in the 80s. And a friend of ours, we were visiting her. She lived in the same apartment as he did. So, and she was military. So, she told us, I think we were going outside to go in the pool. And she was like, yeah, I'll Be Sure. I think it was a few celebrities that lived there, but the one that stood out was I'll Be Sure. She was like, yeah, I'll Be Sure lives here. And she pointed out his apartment. Me and I think my cousin, we tried to go, because he had a balcony, or it was either a balcony door or a window, a big window. And it was like a little split in the curtains. It wasn't a blinds, it was a curtain, right? I apologize, Albie. We went to the window and I was peeping in. Man, I just wanted to just see him. Just let me just see this curly haired man, because anyway. So, I peeped in and I didn't see anybody. I think I was looking in the window for a good 10 minutes, and I don't want to hear nothing. Don't you come for me. Don't you. Oh my God, you was invading his privacy. Oh, well, I was 16. So tell me what you did at 16. So anyway, I looked in the window and it was, like I said, the curtains were like partially open. So I just wanted to see a peep of him. If I saw a peep of him and he saw me and he was looking back at me, I don't know what I would have did to myself. But all I saw was a lot of CDs on the ground. It was on the floor. Like, they were at the, I saw the sofa, and it was and it was a notebook on the ground and a pen. So I'm assuming that he was sitting on the floor, or had been sitting on the floor writing something. So I think I looked at that. I looked at his window for about a good 5-10 minutes. Never came back. But I knew he was home. Because you could just tell someone was here. It was at the house. But he never came back. So I was a little heartbroken. But yeah, I was trying to check out Albie Shore in his apartment in Studio City in the 80s. Okay, let's get back to the doc.
Uptown Records was modeled as a boutique version of Motown, but we just had the hip hop flavor to it. I had a little bit of success myself being the first #1 artist on Uptown and the first platinum artist on Uptown. I don't think that people ever knew that Albie Shore funded Uptown. I was working with Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, everything in the boards. They took a company like Uptown from zero and made it into a $1 billion corporation.
Okay, listen to what the next guy says, what Sean went through just to get an intern at Uptown. I told you, when someone is willing to do whatever it takes to get success or get where they want to be, beware. Check it out.
Sean wanted to work Uptown. He actually did some more like suffering just to, get that internship.
He said he had to do some, I don't know if he said moral suffering, or I know he said suffering to get that internship. And when a person is willing to do whatever, that means they kind of lack morals, or they will throw their morals away to get what they want. Okay, let's go on.
So Sean would show up in the weirdest places, at Heavy D's doorstep. He'd show up at Uptown. He'd show up at parties. Anything to get the attention of the bigwigs.
He was really trying to get Andre Harrell's, the president of Uptown Records, attention. From what I heard is that he even slept outside of his car because he really wanted to be in this.
And then Sean forced his way in with what he can do for Andre and became an intern. Yeah, I don't remember much. It's not like we hung out on a daily basis and things of that nature. But what you do know about Sean, one of Sean's best attributes was Sean let everybody know in the camp, nobody's going to be bigger than me.
He was just getting coffee, getting paper, making Xerox copies. There wasn't that much money in it yet. So he started promoting parties. Now he's starting to make some money with his parties. But at the same time, it was an event. This is where he was going on through some hard times.
That tragic event, I think the guy wanted to kill himself, to be honest with you.
See what I'm talking about? The guy I told you that was annoying to me. It's like every time he says something, he chuckles like, oh my God, I once saw a little baby kitten get ran over by a car. It's like, what's funny, guy? There's nothing funny. I don't care how, just anyone speaking about someone possibly wanting to harm themselves. There's nothing funny about it. Now, he may be nervous. That might be something he does when he's nervous. I don't know, but it's just like, I hope he looks at this documentary and be like, damn, what was I laughing about? Okay, the next thing they were talking about was what happened, the tragedy that took place at City College for the promotion concert that they threw in. 9 people were unalive at the event. If anyone looked at the video I did with Hollywood video, she was aware of what took place. She said that the promotion was promoted in under Sean's name, and that the one who had Jessica, some woman by the name of Jessica, had something to do with the whole promotion, and they used Sean's name to gather up the folks who came and paid the tickets to see this event. And she is the one who demanded that the doors be locked so that no one would steal her cash. So she was more concerned about the cash than people's safety. So she is the one who had the doors closed. I don't know why people don't speak on this, but I find it mighty peculiar that no one elaborates on that part. But anyway, we're gonna I'm just filling you in on what was discussed next. Okay, let's go on. December 28, 1991. Wow, that was a day. December 28, 1991. I remember, my phone was ringing and people want tickets. Do you have tickets? Can you get me tickets?
How y'all doing this morning?
At 22, Sean was a genius at marketing.
They promoted it like it was in a 10,000 seat arena. City College hosts 2,700.
Not only was it filled inside, there was probably just as many people outside that couldn't get inside.
There was this girl, and she was packed in the glass door. And everybody was saying, just go home. You can go out the back. The crowd started to get unruly.
The ticket crew closed the door.
I heard they locked me in. She locked the door. Now they're crushed against the door. like packed to back to back. When the crowd rushed through, all the glass and everything just shattered. And people just start running in.
And you got people piling up on another, and people are screaming, just let me in, let me in.
And there were people who, my friend said they heard Dirk smothered, like they could hear him being completely covered by the crowd.
I ran around the gym, opened one door. People start falling down right there. Open up another door. People start falling down there.
Where do you remember seeing Diddy during this?
I didn't see Diddy at all.
What I do see is him, Puffy, running around trying to save people. I saw him trying to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to people.
I never saw Sean Combs give anyone CPR. If anybody tells you that, they telling a flat out lie.
Ain't nobody want to give him mouth to mouth.
So who do you believe? Mr. Chuckles, who says that Diddy tried to perform resuscitation, or Gene Deal, where he says Diddy didn't do anything? And it's like, if Gene was running around trying to help people, how could you possibly see everything that Diddy was doing? So I don't know. See, I know Sean from what the public says about him, but I don't know, it would be a beautiful thing if he was actually trying to resuscitate him. But another guy comes in and says that it looked like nobody was trying to help. So, okay, let's continue.
Basketball game. My brother was pronounced dead at 7:50, and he got there, I think, at 7.
My sister's name is Sonia Williams. That's Sonia, the larger picture. And this is the stairwell that she died in.
Yeah, I just prayed for the families, and I prayed for the children that lost their lives.
The news is he oversold an event, him and Heavy D. And you know why? Because their names were on it.
I was the promoter of the event.
This thing somehow or another made him the most famous guy around.
How you doing, baby?
Puffy became more known. It almost made him in a real weird way. When my mother was in litigation with other families, then the details start coming out. You promoted this event. You didn't hire enough security. You oversold the tickets. Someone took the money, ran down the stairs, and shut the door. We was in litigation with this for 6 years. So now his music is doing well. Sean John is getting ready to come out.
This is Sean John. Sean John. Dwayne Sean John.
So he's doing very well. He calls me to the BMG building. It's just me and him in the office. And he seemed very nervous. He seemed so nervous that his lips turned white. And he said, Sonny, I'm going to offer you $50,000. So I remember looking around the office, and I'm seeing all these plaques now on the wall. Platinum plaques, gold plaque, platinum plaques, gold plaque. I said, brother, you got all this going on, and you offering me $50,000? He said, Sonny, man, listen, man, that's real generous. That's a generous donation. And I lost it. I said, is Sonia your fucking friend? You offered me $50,000, and you gave Sonia the ticket to go to that event? That was a slap in my face. I don't want to talk money. I want you to help me do something in their memory. I said, but is Sonia your friend? He wouldn't answer me.
At that point where he said Sean didn't even say that the young lady was his friend, Diddy crossed over into corporate America. They, don't admit responsibility in any kind of way. So if he had said, yes, she was my friend, that would have showed some kind of accountability. So, he made his mind up. He was like, and he has some big wigs behind him saying, deny, 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 or just don't say anything that will make you culpable. All right, let's go on.
So I go out the room. So now I'm conflicted. Maybe you should take it and maybe he'll work with you and help you with the foundation. So I go back in the office. I said, listen, man, I don't want you bringing up money and Sonia in the same sentence. I said, $50,000? He said, Sonny, please, man. Trust me, man. It's a good donation. I reluctantly did it.
We got $40,000 from Sean Combs directly. His image is important for him. The lies go back to City College.
Everything I do every day, I try to be a shining example of hard work and what you get if you work hard.
Had someone found him accountable, it may have just slowed down the process of all the other things that happened to other people.
I completely agree with him. If he had been more or suffered more consequences for allowing that function to be promoted under his name, and other people causing that mayhem. As I said, I do believe what Hollywood said, that another woman is completely responsible for what happened as well. I think, it would have slowed him down. But see, when you're trying to get initiated into that dark world, all they're looking for is to see how cold your heart is. And he passed the test, allegedly. Let's go on.
Here, I'll be sure. Mr. Albie, I'm getting a lot of letters about you, man. A lot of ladies I've been watching. And they want to see what's behind those glasses. Before Sean was an intern, I met a woman, Kimberly. One day, I was backstage, Madison Square Garden, and the first time I laid eyes on Kimberly Antoinette Porter, we met. That was it. Yeah, I swear. I still feel like a little kid, I remember. That's crazy.
I was told that when a man falls in love with a woman, he never falls out. And, all I know about him is what the media says about him. And no one knows this man's heart. But if you look at how he blushes when he reminisces about when they first were together, that there's love still there. And, I'm sure this man, that's a love that will never leave. Okay, let's go on.
We had a son, Quincy. Al had influence in getting Kim a job at Uptown, and Kim became the receptionist. At one point, I was working on Casey and JoJo on one of the soundtracks. Sean came by the studio. I believe he may have been with his significant other at the time, who was Misa.
They dated off and on for years. Always on in his mind and never off. Puff was sick with her. No matter who he dealt with or who he had over, he always ran back to Kim.
I have a photo of Sean and Kim Porter in Paris Fashion Week. Kim and I on the yacht in Saint-Tropez. He would fly glam out to even vacations because we had to make sure Kim Porter looked perfect and he had to look perfect. Kim was from Georgia. She wasn't this glam girl that the world perceived. We made her glam. She was his arm candy.
Well, it seems that Diddy ended up adopting Quincy and raising Quincy as his own.
I'm here as his father to, to raise him and give him advice.
I have to keep in mind that what people were fed in this propaganda against me over the years about, Puffy did this and adopted your kid, adopted this. There's no adoption. None. There's no letter to my father and all that. All crafted by a publicist. And if you haven't noticed, his name is still Brown.
I wonder why not too many people paid attention to that. That if Sean actually adopted Quincy, his last name will be Combs, not Brown. And I am, guilty of that myself. I didn't really pay attention to it. Actually, I didn't pay attention to the fact that his last name is not Combs until I'll be sure just pointed that out. So it's really the kind of person people are saying Sean is, and we're perceiving him to be. There's no way in the world he would have officially adopted Quincy and not have his last name be changed to Combs. Okay, let's go on.
People thought I was absent, things of that nature. I was basically instructed by Kimberly. I was told that Puffy wasn't too happy about anyone who had a relationship with Kimberly. I was very much under, listen, you promise on our son's life, just stay out of the way, don't get involved. Being told, please, don't do that tough guy Mount Vernon shit, you will get killed. Yeah, no, I can't go into that. There's legal proceedings going on right now, so this will be, but yeah, I will share that at some point, but yeah, it's part of evidence, and I'm going to refrain from this part of this.
Had you seen him be disrespectful with Kim?
One time I was called on the phone to rush over to St. Luke's Hospital. She looked like she was bruised and stuff like that, but she wasn't saying much of nothing.
I have a victim who I now represent. She alleges that she also saw acts of violence with regard to Kim Porter. She was horrified. It was appalling. She was threatened into not reporting it.
Now, they're saying in this documentary that there was no evidence of Kim Porter being physically abused by Sean. But my thing is, people behind the scenes knew what kind of person Sean was. There's an article that I came across about a month ago where a woman was talking about, she worked for Vibe magazine, and she was talking about her experience with Diddy. Now, it's amazing to me how much was covered up, how he was allowed to run so rampant in this behind the scenes, and now everyone is like, oh, there was no evidence. It was evidence, you guys just didn't talk about it. Now, this man terrified people to the point where even to this day some of them are still afraid to come out and tell the truth. Now, that's serious. Let's continue.
There were whispers, maybe, of things that were happening behind the scenes. There was a little blip of coverage, but nothing beyond that.
Make some noise.
By that time, Sean, probably one of the hardest working up and coming executives.
And I work like 20 hours a day, and I feel as a young black man, about anything I put my mind to, I could do.
He worked his way from intern to the director of A&R in the space of about a year or a year and a half.
See what Sharon Carpenter just said? He worked, and within the span of a year, he was promoted to this higher position. And like I said, it was like 1 minute you saw, like, he moved too fast to these positions in the entertainment field. It's like, who moves that fast? It's like 1 minute you come in dancing, being a backup dancer. The next minute you're opening your own record label. It was just weird how fast he rose in the entertainment field. And to me, that was a sign of him being willing to do what most didn't want to do. Let's go on.
That was the person at the label who was responsible for signing new artists to the record label.
I never knew I would be here, but I'm grateful, and I'm definitely honored.
You had the keys to the kingdom. Like, you were able to say what was hot. You were able to say that's going to be the next big artist, and you had that power really to put somebody on. And after that, he launches his own record label, Bad Boy.
See how I've been in the videos that I do covering Diddy. See how I keep trying to convey to you guys, especially the ones who were not born during the time Diddy first came out. I've been trying to paint a picture of how big Diddy was and the power he wielded in that industry. And I was told by someone that Diddy was like the top gatekeeper of hip hop. If anybody wanted a career in hip hop, they had to go through him. So whatever he wanted you to do, if you wanted a career in hip hop, you had to go through Diddy. All right, let's go on.
So at Uptown, Sean left, and the founder of Uptown gave me Sean's workload along with the workload I already had. That night, I'm inheriting his workload, and he's inheriting a new label. It's crazy.
Diddy looked at hip hop in a very different way. People felt that it had to be gritty and very tied to the streets. But in Diddy's mind, why can't hip hop be you driving around in a Bentley? Why can't hip hop be having Rolexes, having mansions, and living that kind of high life?
I don't too much like Sharon Carpenter. I think to me she kind of like real subtle playing devil's advocate. But anyway, and I'm not talking about what she's saying about Diddy and how he came in and effed up hip hop. It's things that she says throughout the documentary that kind of makes me roll my eyes at her. Diddy came in there and trashed hip hop because hip hop was supposed to be like something like a form of art where men and women can come out and tell you their life experience. And a lot of it happened to be bad. Growing up poor, growing up in roach infested homes and having, dealing drugs as a way out to keep from starving, you know what I'm saying, or providing for your family. And it was supposed to be used as a message. And then it was also supposed to be used for entertainment, cool entertainment, house party entertainment. Diddy came in there and to me, he tainted it and he made it like a joke. It's nothing good about hip hop today. And if anybody who think hip hop today is good, oh Lord, I can imagine what's going on in your mind. Let's go on.
It's this shiny suit era, this glossy era. It's all about spending and making money. He had just come out with the Notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack,
He had a heavy hitter roster in hip hop.
See what she just said Diddy brought to hip hop? He brought nothing substantial. Everything was materialized. Everything was about material possessions. That's it. Money, glitter, cars, houses, females, dudes. He didn't bring anything to the plate that was substantial. All it did was cause people to lust and go out and do whatever they needed to do to get what he was putting on video. He played the devil's advocate. He was used to taint hip hop, and he did it so well. Let's continue.
That's the beginning of Sean's ending, because he was given way more than your average rapper, average inner city black industry person.
I'm from Harlem, young man from Harlem, New York. This is crazy right here. I'm reaching big. I'm going for the big time. I'm trying to have my name in lights one day, baby.
With Sean and I. That's when he was a brand new millionaire. Around that time, he showed me a check for $60 million, and I couldn't believe it.
Puffy was able to negotiate a $55 million advance, reportedly, from Clive Davis.
Now, what do you think Sean had to do for $60 million? Some people require you to do strange things for $5. They don't just give you $60 million. You have to promise to bring them souls and blood. And I'm not being dramatic either. If you haven't seen enough within these last 2 years to let you know that industry is dark and sinister as hell, I don't know what to tell you. Sean had to do a lot. He had to appease a lot of twisted, perverted, sick people who have a lot of money to pay you to appease them and take care of their pleasures. Okay, let's continue.
It was a check, and it was crumbled up, and he has that Kool-Aid look on his mouth. He licked his lips and said, yeah, I'm about to turn this shit on. Watch. He was rubbing elbows with Tommy Hilfiger. He was on the top 10 of the record charts. He's known worldwide. He's probably one of the most photographed black men in history, and he's not even 25 years old yet. And this wasn't like his first and last $1 million check. This was the first of many. But now Sean is the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1% in the black world. I ain't never met nobody this rich. And this is Sean. What does that do to a person? I can only imagine.
It's been taking me fucking ever to get back to my exact team of not giving a fuck.
Yeah, I had to delete that part out. Well, parts of him saying he don't give a F. It took him forever to get to the part or get back to the point where he doesn't give a F. And if you look in his eyes, the man looked evil. I don't even believe he was saying that for the cameras. I really do believe that he was being sincere when he said that. Because you got to realize that he knows that he was surrounded by people who didn't really care about him. They was just around him because of what he had, his status and his name. So he knew that. And no telling what dirty things people did to him. So, yeah. Okay, let's go on.
I can show you how we have fun and stay out of jail too. And make money.
I know you guys saw that clip before where he said I could show you how to have fun, stay out of jail, and make money. That dude wasn't playing. And you notice when he said have fun and stay out of jail, he didn't say, hey guys, I can show you how to stay out of jail and have fun the clean way and make money. He didn't say it that way. He said have fun. Now, what kind of fun you talking about, Sean? Fun for you and tragic for others? There's a man who is speaking anonymously and his voice is disguised, but the way I had to record this, you can't really, it sounds very terrible. You would really have to strain to understand what he's saying. So I implore you guys, the ones who can watch this documentary, go check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed, but I'm going to do a little bit more and then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, let's go on. Oh, also somebody told me about the red light. In the comments, someone said that's some kind of, oh God, what did they say? It was the red light. I don't know if they said it's summon spirits or it's a part of a sex ritual. I cannot remember what they said, but they explained why he prefers having sex or so-called making love using a red light. All right, let's go on.
That in order for him to have this image, you have to be larger than life. And he thought that if people fear him, they respect him.
Nobody shooting me. Nobody shooting me. Nobody shooting me. There's 3 shooters to make sure somebody can shoot me. You got me acting crazy in front of all these people. JJ, you got me acting crazy. Disney paying a lot for this mother. I'm gonna get fuck that.
I'll put out my calendar started for us. Just to calm down.
Right now.
I worked with Diddy on MTV's Making the Band 2. When he got angry with one of my band members, he said, "You make me so mad, I want to eat your flesh." And then he said to another one of my band members, he said, "You rolling your eyes, and I could go get a crackhead and pay them $20 to smack the shit out of you." Who says that? That's crazy. Fast forward to actually making the band, and he said,
I want me a piece of cheesecake.
when you're watching it, you're like, yeah, go get a slice of cheesecake. Like, you want this, you gotta want it that bad.
Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
People looked at that like, yo, this dude is crazy.
We walked for 8 hours over the Brooklyn Bridge. We went from Manhattan to Brooklyn walking. And so I'm doing that stuff because I'm like, I ain't gonna go home. This is what I've been working for. Honestly, I didn't want to be around him unless there was cameras. Because after that one incident, which was very inappropriate.
What happened? As much as you're comfortable to talk about.
Well, the incident, basically, I was by myself. And I was, this was hard to talk about. Like, about this. Well, the incident, basically, I was by myself. And I was, well, he touched me in a place that he shouldn't have. That was inappropriate. And I felt, I felt intimidated. I felt like, oh my God, what the heck happened just now? Trying to cry. I'm definitely nervous. Because like I said, I haven't said anything for so long. And it's built up. It's been 20 years of going through my mind. Like, this has happened, that's happened, this was stopped. Mentally, like, draining.
I'm at Puffy Howard's campus. I only got back in touch with him years after when he was starting this production team called the Hitmen. It was told to the staff that Puff was throwing a party at the Hamptons.
So I moved to a new neighborhood and they were like, well, what's this guy doing moving here in these Hamptons? And I said, everybody, come on over to the house so y'all get to know me. Let me invite some of my friends from Harlem, from 145th Street.
I had absolutely no idea what the Hamptons was about. We finally get out there and I get to see Puffy's house for the first time. He has a white mansion, all white glass from the back. And I'm like, wow, this is for rich folks, rich white folks who got money. So that was different. Anybody from the music industry, film industry, movie execs or music execs who lived out there, they were invited as well. I remember meeting Donald Trump in the party. It was crazy.
Why wouldn't it be? People smoking weed, people popping pills. That's a party.
I went to a lot of Puffy parties in the 90s. These were the parties everybody wanted to go to.
15 minutes, we can't stop it go.
These were the parties that you needed exclusive access to get into. But these weren't the parties that people talk about now. The after party was something that I had heard before, that maybe there were orgies happening.
An after party is something that's common in the music industry. People have after parties. But here's the thing. Everybody tend to say, all of a sudden, because it's a white party, it's a freak off. Like, come on now.
I don't know. It's something about him that makes me think he's not being, quite honest. But I get he has a life outside of Diddy. Whenever the dust settles, he has a life to live. I get that part. But I think it's a little selfish how people aren't coming out saying what they know, telling the truth. And I know people are like, well, what's wrong with being selfish? Okay, well, I want you to ask yourself that same question when you need someone to be a witness for you, when they know something that could help you and no one wants to speak up for you. So remember that question you asked, or remember when you asked, the question, what's wrong with being selfish? Then you're going to have your answer. The documentary is an hour and 39 minutes. So it's quite long. And also, I'll be sure gives a little more details on what happened with him and his health scare. And it's very, heart-wrenching. So, again, if you have the ability to watch it, you guys should watch it. You really should. It let me see things outside of articles, some written by people with ulterior motives. It let me hear things other than other YouTubers, some speaking, biasly. Either they're for Sean or against him. So I'm going to wrap this up, folks. Thank you again for your time. Those who checked out the entire video, thank you. Those who watch a lot of these videos on this channel other than Diddy, thank you so much. Appreciate you as well. And I'm going to shut this down. Thanks again. Have a great night. We'll see you in the next video. Or a great day, evening, morning. See you in the next video.